Hi, it's Rob from the Bush and Boltgun. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to paint a World Eater's chapter badge. If you'd like to support the channel, our Ko-fi and Patreon pages are linked below. Now onto the video. So the first colour we're using here is going to be Citadel Caledor Sky, which is a nice blue. We're going to use this to do the initial circle, which is going to be the planet in the background of the symbol. So as always, if you're doing a circle, find out which part is easiest to paint for you first. I'll link in the freehanding circles video here. And then do that part. You can see here I'm rotating it while I'm painting, and that is because I find the bottom left corner the easiest section of a circle to paint. And I seem to be able to get that more spherical than at the top. And then here I'm just trying to correct that and make the top part more circular. So once you've got that in place, you can then fill that in so that you've just got that flat blue circle. Then we can start working on the other colours. So the next colour we're going to do is Citadel Warboss Green. I'm going to use this to do the land masses on the world. Now if you do look at the chapter icon, or the Legion icon, I've been going off one of the 40k wiki like fandom pages there. There's a couple of different World Eater chapter badges. There's pre-heresy ones, there's during a heresy ones, and this is the post-heresy kind of 40k looking one. So I'm roughly copying the landmass on there. In all honesty, if you're painting a lot of these on the shoulder pads of your World Eaters, it probably doesn't matter too much if you get different landmasses, or you want to put on the landmass of the country where you live, or that kind of area, or that continent, which is probably what I would do. Is I'd probably have a little section of Europe showing up across the world there. But whatever you're painting on there, whether you're copying the one from the actual chapter badge or making up your own landmass, you just whack that into the blue circle. These little bits of Warboss green I'm doing at the side here is where a section of the planet is being kind of exploded outwards. We're going to do a little triangle of red on there in a moment just to cut that out. Next up is a little bit of Vallejo Black, or whichever black colour you tend to use. This is going to be used to do the cracks in the planet. Now you have one large crack coming from the left hand side, and you have two smaller ones on the right hand side where that chunk is flying out. So I'm just going to paint on this rough crack going down the left hand side of the planet. Bearing in mind this is going to be on the chapter badge of a miniature on the tabletop, so you're not really going to be able to see any little extra bits that you paint on by accident or anything like that, because it is going to be a really small icon. This is probably only about 3 or 4 mil across, something like that. You're pointing in the little lines on the right hand side there too. If you want to tidy those up, you can use a little bit of the Caledor Sky or the Warboss Green just to touch them up a little bit. That will be fine. Now I'm just going to use a tiny little bit of Mephiston Red. All we're doing here is we're going to paint in that little triangle of red on the right hand side to show where that piece of the planet is exploding out. With the little triangle done, the next thing we're going to use is a little bit of Citadel Dryad bark. I'm going to use this to do the jaws, which are chomping down on that planet, and to paint a few little bits flying out the left hand side of the planet too. So I start with a vertical line across the top. Say vertical, it's turned on its side, so it would actually be a horizontal line across the top there, and one across the bottom too. Now these are ever so slightly curled, so if you want to put that little curve in straight away like so, that's fine, or if you want to do it straight, or do it straight then add the curve, either way is fine. Then I'm going to put the angle of the two larger teeth in there. So the initial ones are on the outside, they're slightly bigger than the two that are on the inside. So you want to try and get them to go up to roughly the same height. I'm using a slightly too thick a brush here, which is a pain, but as always, once you've got the basic design done, you can go back and touch that up and just tweak any of those little teeth to get them how you want them. So from there, we're then doing the two teeth in the middle between those two larger teeth. Like so. With just that one drawn, it looks a little bit like some sort of weird orc face with raised eyebrows. Here I'm just using a little tiny spot of Warboss green to spot in that colour in between those teeth, so you haven't got tiny spots of red. Now it may, if you thought about it logically, make that planet have a slightly lower bit underneath, but I did that because if you have that tiny spot of red between the planet and the teeth, I found it looks just that little bit awkward and slightly strange looking, so I thought I'll just put a little spot of colour in there from the planet, either the Caledor Sky or the Warboss green, whichever you want to use, just to cover that up, and that means that the jaws are clamping that planet down. It means there's none of those little specks of red showing through. So once again, we're doing the two larger teeth and then the two smaller teeth. As always, if you come to finish and you think, I'm not quite happy with those teeth, I'm not quite happy with how part of it looks, rather than trying to do the whole thing again, it's worth just tweaking it. Or say you get the two middle teeth in the wrong position, so they're further over one side, just use a bit of that Caledor Sky to go over those teeth, then just paint them on again. Because it is all about just tweaking the image rather than trying to repaint huge sections of it. And that is my rough World Eaters chapter badge. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Thanks for watching, hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future content. Also, think about subscribing to some of our other social media, linked below. Thanks very much. If you like the channel and you enjoy the content and you'd like to support us, our Ko-fi and Patreon pages are linked below. Thanks very much.